So we're going to be working on turning the robot now. There's a couple of different ways that you can turn the robot. Probably the easiest way is to use the move steering action brick. I'm going to go ahead and just get this out of the way so I can have a little bit more space there, especially since I have the window half size. So you can see that right now I have the configured to be on for rotations. Okay. Right now it's configured to go straight. The move steering, and that it's at 50% power. If I was to change this, it would go slower or faster depending on how you put that. When you are steering using this, you can use the slider here to choose which direction you want it to go. Notice how it's minus 51 or plus 51. That's to help you choose whether to go left or right. And you can see that my B and C ports are selected. What does that mean? Well, it means that my main motors that power my wheels are connected into ports A and B on the front of the robot. And you want to make sure that those are in the right spot, because if not, then you might have, it might not respond. So as well as using the slider, you can type things in. So let's say I want it to turn right. So I'm going to put, I'm going to select this and put 50 in. And that way I get it exactly. Now, by the arrow, when I press the play button here, it should go ahead and turn pretty much directly to the right. So it's facing the other direction, ready to go. Let's see if that works. Okay, and you can see that it's very close. Now, your robot may be a little finicky, depending on how tight your wheels are. You might have to adjust a little bit. It might have to be a 51 for a perfect right-hand turn or a minus 52 for the perfect left-hand turn. But let's go ahead and put minus 50 in to see if it'll turn back to straight, because if I put minus 50, that is making it turn left. So it should turn back to face the front. And you can see that it did just that. So that's a very easy way to steer. And turn right or left. And of course, if I was to want to do a curved turn, well, let's say I go ahead and I want it to do kind of a smaller turn. Well, a smaller turn's good, and I'm going to select, let's say, 25, so it should turn on a curve. Now, if I do this for one rotation, like it's configured now, it should turn a little bit that way. Now, if I was to increase the amount of rotations, I could go around a corner, and I would continue to go around in sort of a large arced circle. And that would be great for moving around rounded objects. So you see, there it goes. It travels around, and it faces the opposite direction. So if there is an obstacle in the way, you want to curve around the outside, such as my coffee mug full of coffee, then I could go ahead and it would just go around the outside. And it does a little dance around my coffee. So that's one great way to turn your robot. Another interesting way is to use the Move Tank action block. I don't know why that's selected on the bottom. I'm going to go back and select Move Tank. Now, this is interesting because you are powering each wheel separately. So while I don't have a slider to determine how far which way I'm going to turn, instead I power the wheels differently to turn. And so what's interesting about this is I can make the left wheel at plus 50, and I could make the right wheel at minus 50, and then because they're powered exactly opposite, the robot will turn but also stay right in the spot like a tank would, and moving its treads backwards and forwards on at equal power. So if I do that, it's going to spin on the spot. And you can see that because I have it selected for one rotation, it turns exactly a 180 turn. And I like that, and it's on the spot, and it's cool. If I was to go ahead and put 0.5, we all know that 0.5 or 0.5 is the equivalent of half. And so if we wanted to do a half a turn, this is when I might get it to do a half rotation of the wheel, that is. That's when I'd get it to turn right on the spot, and it faces the other direction. And it's very cool because it does it exactly on the spot, and that's super neat. And so that's pretty awesome, and also it's pretty great for dance move. If I was to select this for 5 rotations and my wheels are powered equally but in the opposite direction, then I'm going to do some cool spinning around dance moves. And if I go ahead and put 5, but I power these differently now because I want to untangle the cord because it's been spun around now. I'm going to make this one positive 50 and this one negative 50, and then you're going to see it do the dance moves in the reverse direction for 5 rotations. And there you go. You have a cool little spinning dance move. So it's pretty great for you turning your robot, especially on the spot. Now, where you get into moving forward and turning would be if you go ahead and you power the wheels like both positively but slightly different. So if I wanted to go around my coffee mug, for example, I might make the left wheel powered at 75 and my right wheel powered at I could leave it at 50, for example. Now, my left wheel is powered a little bit heavier than my right wheel, and so when it goes around for one rotation, it still turns, but it won't turn on the spot. Instead, it will move forward and turn right slightly. And you can see that's what it did. So if I wanted to do an arc turn, I would have to get pretty picky and refine it, right? I might want this to be closer because I want to do a bigger turn. I'm going to move it up to 60 instead. I want the turn to be a little bit tighter, and I'm going to move this to 3 rotations, and let's see what happens if I put my obstacle in the way. I don't have confidence that it's going to work, but let's see what happens. When you refine this, though, it's a great way to make a curved turn as well. Oh, that's not working out how I wanted it. I wonder what I would have to do. Maybe I have to make this minus, let's make this minus 4, no, let's see. I'm going to make this at 35, and we'll see if that's a sharper turn, because this difference is so much bigger. That left wheel is going to be pushing that much faster, and the right wheel is going to be moving so much slower that it will go ahead and make a more curved turn. There we go. And that's how you can debug, right? Your program's not working out. You think about what you can do to manipulate the configuration of the action blocks or the sensor blocks or the other blocks, and then you are successful through trial and error. And you can do this right at your table too while your robot's still hooked up. You don't have to download it to your computer. So this is how you do some cool turns.